Alrighty. So yeah, I'm doing these prayers just to give myself a chance. There goes Petra. Petra is not as good as it used to be, sadly. I've heard people say it's better. No, it's not. It's not better than 5. I would thoroughly disagree with that. One of the main reasons is that you can't build anything on flat desert anymore. You used to be able to build farms on flat desert, so you could have buffed farms by Petra. Now you just have this like it buffs the hills a lot, but it doesn't buff like the buffed flatland isn't really worth it. Oh, and even the desert itself is weaker than it used to be because it used to be that hills had 2 production and the flatland had 1 food, I believe. Was it 0? I think it was 1. I believe it's 1 food. Let's get in position now. Let the games begin. Mother of God, please. Finish. I think I should do that. It's only 1 turn, but I think it might be still within the time frame. I believe it is, yeah. Alright, so let's queue this up. We're going to want 1 guy here. 1 guy here. So we got, what do we have? 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's fine. Has walls now, so that makes this a little trickier. I wish I had more units, but I gotta do these prayers, or we're screwed. So yeah, I mean this exemplifies the annoyingness of a religion on deity. Like you've seen me, right? Like 2 fast cities with fast holy sites with prayers, and we'll see if it works out. It looks fine, but I've been in this situation before. I'll just leave it at that. Sometimes it's not fine. Alright, so I think we will take some pot shots at Madrid and then fight his army when it shows up. I'm curious what he has. Pagodas are good. Feed the World is not very good. Let's get Theology. Maybe you could build an Immortal. Since you don't really need a holy site, the alternative is a builder. I think getting an Immortal here is actually kind of a good idea. I know it'll take a while, although it's about to grow again, so it'll probably be like 10 turns. So that's pretty fast, and it'll show up by the time to be relevant, that's for sure. So that gave us 29 profit points. So there's 5 turns left. Okay. I mean, I know you're like 7 turns, right? The thing is, this also gives faith per turn while you're doing it, which would get us closer to being able to patronage it when it gets close. um, but I think I won't quite go that far. I think it's kind of over. And I want more immortals. I want more builders too. I want a watermill. But most importantly is using our unique unit. And I think now's the day. Now's the time. Alright, here goes nothing. Hello!
Esto es absurdo. ¿Nos estáis declarando la guerra? ¿Acaso ignoráis el poderío de la armada invencible?
Yeah. 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 Why don't I have plus movement? Maybe it's next turn. So yeah, I mean, one turn. It's gonna shoot us. It's gonna hurt a good amount. I guess it's 27 strength, right? But you know, one turn it's already at half health. The walls, and once the walls don't repair ever, they have to repair them through production, and they can't repair them if it's been attacked in the last 3 turns. And even then, it has to have not been attacked in the last 3 turns for them to be able to continue repairing it. So this is the one thing I'm a little worried about. Thankfully, we'll have Immortals coming out here, so it's not like, even if there's a surprising invasion here, we'll have a supply of, you know, the best unit in the game coming out. Maybe not the best unit in the game. The best is probably war carts. Yeah, probably war carts. There are a lot of good ones, though. I mean, Mortals are probably pretty close. And then there's just like the Horsemen as Scythia. I still need builders. Alright, let's check this out. Ugh. This is nauseatingly stressful. I don't think this will finish. Will it? Will it be my hero? Let's get our quarry up. Oh yes, our speedy builders. Another cool thing about the Immortal is, because they're melee, again, there's these like subtle things, right? They, first of all, they exercise zone of control. Second of all, they can siege cities. So that's pretty cool. So you can surround them with Immortals, which are the archers killing the city, and also siege it, prevent it from healing. I typically don't bother growing anymore once it's at almost full housing. I mean, it depends. If it has a ton of food, you can go ahead and, oh, fucking A. Yeah, the AI likes to use its scouts for war sometimes. I honestly thought that I I did not take that into account. You know, it's okay. It's okay. We're gonna persevere. Seems there's an encampment, which we don't want to go near. I'm not gonna bother blowing it up or shooting it. I'm just gonna go around it since this city's fairly weak anyway. Good old Dance of the Aurora, the worst Pantheon in Civ 5. Still pretty bad. It's one of those situational ones. Yeah, I knew that would happen. I can eat this farm though, or I can just promote. Ooh, I want to. I'm just gonna promote. So I much prefer these promotions over the archers ones. You know, like minus plus 10 combat strength versus ranged. That's crazy. I'm just gonna. Hmm. Yeah, I wish I had more immortals. Hold on 1 second. Get off my lawn, boy. Alright, we should... Oh, God. Oh, God. Please. Please work. I know it looks like it's fine, but what the AI does is they buy you out at the last second. Because Sid Meier is Satan. And he wants us to suffer. I don't want my warrior to die. Even, like, if I put him here, he could help siege the city. But he'd take encampment shots, and he's a wimpy little warrior. I guess it's 27? I don't know. Won't, like, outright kill him right away, but might end badly. Yo, we really need some farms around here. You really need a monument. I'm gonna build farms. Terracotta is a good wonder, if you're doing what I'm doing right now. The problem is on Deity, like, the AI will just gobble it up before you get there. By the time you, like, have an army and then you're, like, get to that tech. I mean, I haven't tried, like, rushing it, so that's a possibility. But, in my experience, it just doesn't matter. I thought he would be able to shoot after that. I think it's good just to take out his units, because you can't replace him that fast. Yeah, I mean, you could argue I should just go for the city. It can be a little tricky that way. Alright. Mother of God, please. Alright, this should do it. This should do it unless they cheat. Hi. A wild catapult. Well, on the bright side. Yes, we got the profit. Oh my god. Thank god. Alright. We're doing good. I'm only worried about this. The only thing I'm worried about is this warrior dying from this encampment. But I think it's okay. It's not like super strong yet. It's still early enough. Woohoo! Screw you, France. Get off my land. So you see, like, that's not a very strong shot, right? That's the downside of the Immortal. The thing is, like, he's so tanky. Like, the warrior would take more damage if he attacked than I'm doing with the shot. That's kind of their quirk. I think they're overall very, very strong. Oh, thank God. Alright. We might even be able to get our, actually boost this, even though I was talking about how I never do that. Yeah, I mean, that's some of the cool thing about Civ 6, especially, I think, even more than Civ 5 is how much it varies, you know? It's very situational. I think they did an excellent, excellent job with that, so good for them. I don't think, I don't want to test this right now, but in case you're ever wondering, I'm pretty sure Great Prophets can't die. I'm not 100% on that, but I recall once invading a guy, and I caught his Great Prophet out, and I hit it with my unit, and it made it teleport back to his capital. And I think that's so, like, it doesn't. You don't get screwed over by getting the last great prophet and then there's no religion from it. That would be a very weird scenario. Undoubtedly. I'm gonna wait for his promotion just in case. I think he should attack this. Yeah, I don't know that for sure, right? But so yeah, it's a little slow going here with the Immortals, but that's okay. I think we'll keep that for now, so we can crank out a couple more. Probably just need 2 more or so. Otherwise, oh yes, this is what I wanted. The Great Scientist points are decent. Please get off my land. Oh, I should have brought him out, honestly. I don't even think I should bring this guy out, because if they attack him, that's good for me. You know what I mean? It's very irritating how I cannot found my religion though. And one thing I do a little differently than a lot of players is I don't worry too much about campuses, or it's not so much they don't worry about them as I don't rush them. A lot of players, I think they got in the habit from Civ 5. They'll just they think that everything is about getting as much science as possible, and that is still, if I'm being perfectly honest, a lot of that is still true. Excuse me. Where are you guys going? But they've made a lot of changes that favor a more balanced style. And there's just general theory crafting you can do basically. For one thing, the science buildings in Civ 5 just don't have nearly the impact they do in Civ 6. Sorry, the reverse. Civ 6 is not they're not as powerful as Civ 5. Just a random example, like a 1-for-1 university. Civ 5 give you 33%. That's a percentage boost. So if you had a big, tall city with lots of science, that would just get huge. That would just be huge and escalate. Here it's just a flat 4. It's like that sort of thing. It's much less. Also, the Eureka system means that, I can get more science, right? But I have to, in order to get 2 crossbowmen, I have to have plenty of production. And to get neighborhoods, I need to have plenty of culture too, and that sort of thing. And vice versa for this tree. Like the trees depend on each other, so you're kind of incentivized to keep them balanced, which I think is good. Because at the end of the day, if you do spam science, you will still have a lead over your opponent who plays balanced in science. But it's not as stupidly snowbally as it used to be. The other thing is if you build a bunch of campuses and neglect production zones and commercial hubs, you won't have the infrastructure to be able to build all the things you can get. I mean, I call science and culture progression progression yields or whatever. Like that's the how you progress through the game basically. Is these 2 trees. But in order to build the things that you get to, you need to have gold and you need to have production in your cities. Pardon me. So that's always really, really important to factor into as well, which is why I try to play more balanced. And honestly, I think they did a really good job with this game. In that usually it comes down to the terrain. So if you have a river, that incentivizes a commercial zone. If you have mountains, then you clearly want to get that campus first. Stuff like that, And industrial zones are very interesting in this way, and I'll get to that a little later. Because a lot of people, you might think, oh, I always want industrial zones. You might be surprised, and I'll show you why. We're gonna go with. We're gonna go with. We're gonna be the crab people. I don't think we're going to do a lot of spreading. Maybe, though. Typically pays off. Typically the best way to... The way a religion pays off the most is if you get either World Church or Tithe and you, and you spread it across the earth. It typically doesn't really pay off as much to just have your own religion that sits in your own base. But you can do religion that way, but I don't really recommend it. So let me explain. So work ethic is 1% production in that city per follower. So that actually benefits my opponents if I give them this religion. So that's kind of a downside. Whereas this one only benefits people who have temples and shrines. So if my opponents don't build a religion, they're not going to get a benefit from this. So that's pretty cool. Pardon me. Quite sorry. Zen meditation kind of sucks. 1, amenity isn't a big deal. 2, housing is quite nice. Work ethic seems really good, and it can be quite good in the late game if you have like 12% or so in your 15 pop city, but it takes a long time to get there, and it's not quite as good as it sounds. Cities, excuse me. This was copy pasted from Civ 5. Cities used to be bigger. They used to grow taller in Civ 5 than they do nowadays. So work ethic is, or it was called something else. That is nerfed, I'm afraid. The housing is always quite good, and so it's I don't know why the screen is like incomplete. So these you always get a building, but you can choose whether you want which one you want to get first. So there's like tithe is like founder bonus. Welchers is a founder bonus. Um, there's the building, and then there's like enhancer bonus, and you get like one of each. It's not entirely clear. I think we might try to get Crusade and spread Crusade. That should be kind of good. Because I think we're going for a domination victory anyway, so. The alternative is like World Church or so. Stewardship, I believe, is a founder bonus that but that's kind of one that you want for your own city because it benefits um, players even if they don't have a holy site. So I think Crusade, because plus 10 is a ton, and I can spread this around. So we're gonna go with Crusade, and it means I don't have to invest too much. I just have to invest enough faith into the converting the next city I'm gonna conquer, if that makes sense. So that way, yeah. So far after all my investment, so far I've gotten absolutely nothing because I don't have a shrine or a temple. Well, I have. Okay, let me say I have 2 housing right now. So far all that production, all that stuff at the most crucial juncture of the game has gotten me nothing. Well, sorry, it's gotten me 2 housing. This is something to keep in mind when you're talking about like, is religion worth it? Set aside like a victory. Like if you can win with religion, that's very far out. I have done it on Deity. I was not very reliable. He hates people who aren't his religion. But you know, victory aside, when you talk about cost-benefit analysis for a religion, it can be a little underwhelming. I could have, instead of those holy sites, I could have twice as many immortals. It's a random example. I still, I built it then. I'm trying to play around with it, right? Like, you know, I've played a lot of Civ 6, but I haven't played around a ton with religion. Mostly because I never think it's a good idea. I mean, I have like done religious victories and things like that. But all right. I'm trying to make religion work. I try to figure it out. I played a game as Poland that was actually pretty fun. I'm just gonna leave this guy here. Did I have an archer here? Oh, it died, yeah. My bad. Pardon me. Alright, I guess I'll send you. I'm gonna build a watermill real quick. Where's the Immortal? Oh, I just built him. Right, so I do want a district here. I don't want a watermill quite yet because I don't need the food because I'm already in max housing. But I'm just gonna go ahead and get up a nice district first, I think. Fortunately, no mountains, but I still kind of want. What do I want? That is the question. I kind of want a campus. Just to get out in the desert, where it wouldn't cost me too much. Or I could put a commercial zone there. I'm kind of feeling commercial early game. Again, it's kind of comes down to terrain. I don't have any mountains or jungle. But I do have a river, so I get a little boost in my build commercial. So in that case, it's kind of, incentivizes that choice. You know what I really need is a freaking worker. Yeah. 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 So Spain not putting up much of a fight. I mean, he's a little spread out because of these weird city placement choices. I suppose I could capture Barcelona. Hell. Oh, he almost fucked me over. Really badly. Maybe he did. Unless he can promote. Alright, we're in a sticky situation here where we can't capture the city because my warrior is dying. That is something I mentioned. I actually made a mistake here. Pretty big mistake by not prepping for this exact situation, which I talked about earlier. I don't believe I have a scout lying around or anything like that. The fastest thing I can do is get a scout. In fact, I can even just go for that. Although I am a bit lucky in that I am Persian. And therefore he can safely heal. So at very least I can just keep the city locked down and go ahead and start shooting this encampment. Which I think is part of Madrid. Not entirely sure. Maybe it's part of Bilbao. Bilbo Baggins town. I think I will send you to Tushpa. Carthage. Carthage. Don't have any encampments yet. Rocket Scout. Oh, I really want Spear of Fion. This guy's pretty smart. He figured out my weakness. Yeah, the Horseman definitely hurts. So, here we see the bonus coming into effect.